The Jets lost their fifth straight game on Sunday as they fell to the Falcons at MetLife Stadium. And some Jets fans were holding on to the hope that the team could make a push for the playoffs and quarterback Aaron Rodgers would return to the field. However, New York Post sports columnist Steve Serby believes those dreams should be put to rest after Gangrene's latest loss. Steve joins me now. And how are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing very well. I'm still recovering from that game yesterday, Jets-Falcons. Boy, that can test your eyesight, that's for sure. Test your mental toughness. That was bad football. Bad football by two mediocre at best teams, even though the Falcons are in the playoff hunt, which tells you all you need to know about the NFC.
It does. And you survived, though. You survived and advanced. You made it through the game. You were able to write your column. You were able to keep things moving. But, Steve, before we get to Rodgers, who you spoke about in your column, you just mentioned you were in the building for Sunday's game. Should the Jets' loss to the Falcons end any talk or hope of the playoffs for this team? I don't know if you're going to go full Jim Mora on me, but should this end any talk of the playoffs?
Yes. As a matter of fact, after they got demolished in Buffalo, I thought that was the end as far as I was concerned. And then we saw the Bleak Friday game against the Dolphins. It's tough. It's tough when you can't score a touchdown. It's tough to win in the NFL when you can't in a quarterback-driven league. The only game on the schedule I see that they could possibly win is the Commanders game. They face the Commanders Christmas Eve at home. And what the shame of this is, Garrett Wilson's career, as of right now, has been wasted. He is such an elite talent, and he's running free in the secondary, and he doesn't have a quarterback who can get the ball to him. He had 7 targets yesterday. He should have 12 targets every week, whether he's doubled or not, because he's one of those guys that good quarterbacks will throw open, and he can make things happen with the ball in his hands, a la Breece Hall. But anyway, 2 years of Garrett Wilson, he must be at wit's end. He's holding his tongue, as are the defensive players. But look, the Jets have a 0.1% chance to make the playoffs. I'm not big into analytics, but I believe those are long odds, don't you think?
Oh, well, some people may look at it and say they're long odds. Some also may say, but there's a chance. There's a chance. So it depends on how you look at it.
No, there's no no, forget it. There's no chance. Wait till next year. And for the Jets, this will be 13 wait till next year. They haven't been in the playoffs since 2010. So that 12-year playoff drought is now a 13-year playoff drought.
There you go. They still aren't fully mathematically eliminated, but Steve is right. The chances are very slim. Now, Steve, some may say that the Jets' offense has been offensive and the quarterback play hasn't been good. With the team with a 4-8 record right now, Aaron Rodgers returned to the practice field last week. Should the team still consider a return by number 8 in an attempt to win out and save the season?
Win out? What have you been smoking lately? Win out?
No, none of that here. None of that here.
Have you been using Rodgers' psychedelic drug? You've been doing some of that? Win out. Come on. I think, lose out is a more realistic option than win out. But look, Aaron Rodgers, let him just rest and heal up and forget about this historic Achilles comeback that he's been attempting, as inspirational as it has been for fans and even for his teammates who have been inspired so much they've lost 5 straight games. But look, draft an offensive tackle for next season, sign Devontae Adams, maybe move AVT to right tackle, and you've got that defense that will have his back the way it was supposed to have his back this year. And then you're in business again with a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers with a fully healed Achilles. In the meantime, I noticed that he was being a ticket rep salesman. Maybe he can go back to doing that for the rest of the year. But his health is paramount. It shouldn't be. It's a no-brainer at this point. There's no reason. There's no playoffs for him to ride back on his green and white horse to save So rest up, Aaron. Happy belated birthday. Come back next year, and we could start the Super Bowl hype talk all over again.
All right, hype talk will start again, but as you said, it's still wait till next year. Steve, with all that being said, how much of the season going the way it has for the Jets, about them not having a competent backup, how much would you put on that? And in your eyes, would the season still be alive had the Jets made the move to get a QB who could actually play behind Rodgers?
Very possible, because look, they're 4-8 now. If they win 2 games, they're 6-6. Even at 5-7, they'd still have a pulse. But Vinny Testaverde was at MetLife yesterday. He might have been a better option to step in for Aaron Rodgers. But one more thing. Who threw 2 touchdown passes yesterday for the Cleveland Browns? Do you know the answer to that, Dex?
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco, who's even younger than Aaron Rodgers. He's not yet even 39 years old. He threw a pick in the 4th quarter, but he's going to probably be the Browns quarterback the rest of the year. Wouldn't that be something? Joe Flacco on December 28th, Thursday Night Football, playing against the New York Jets. A revenge game for Flacco. They didn't want him. They didn't want him back. In hindsight's 2020, but he's a professional, cool customer with experience. He might have been able, to navigate those choppy waters after Rodgers went down for at least a few games. But in the meantime, Zach Wilson, Robert Saleh should go back to Zach Wilson, because what we've seen from Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian is not as good as what we saw from Zach Wilson, who at least has the mobility to avoid duress. And at this point, it's pick your poison, but I would go back to Zach Wilson.
Well, you would go back to Zach Wilson, but reports are out there by The Athletic that Zach Wilson might not want to come back. He might not want to return to QB1. So it seems like it's a mess for the Jets right now. The quarterback carousel just continues. It continues. And as you said, Steve, wait till next year.
Look, the Jets have scored 10 offensive touchdowns. That's not easy to do in this NFL. When the Miami Dolphins beat the Broncos 70-20, they scored 10 offensive touchdowns. So I don't understand why Zach Wilson would not want to resume being QB1. I mean, that's career suicide, right? I mean, if you have a chance to play, go play.
Doesn't sound good. Not a good look when you're in the NFL and refusing to play, especially when players on the other side of the ball, they've been out there for you. But that is Steve Serby. Go check out his column about why it's over. It's a wrap. Aaron Rodgers should not come back, and there's no hope for the Jets right now at 4-8.
I'm sorry. I don't have. Do I have time to put this on? Oh, I guess I don't.
Wow. You have that. Yeah, that should be your new challenge flag. That's what that should be.
Yeah. No, I was going to put this on here. Oh, it doesn't even fit anymore. Man, I don't know how old this thing is.
I don't know what you're doing or if you're trying to give hope to the Jets fan, but I'd say no. I would say no.
Well, if they're looking for a QB1, I'm ready.
All right, there you have it. The legendary New York Post sports columnist Steve Serby. He's ready to jump in at QB1 for the Jets. Steve, thank you for your time. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Derek. Very tight.